The trading station of Kelvar 9 hummed with the cacophony of 1,000 alien voices, each species vying for attention in the bustling marketplace that orbited the neutron star. Rhea stepped through the atmospheric barrier, her boots clicking against the metallic floor as she adjusted the translator unit clipped to her collar. Behind her, a shadow moved with predatory grace. The first to notice her was a Crethian merchant, its 6 eyes narrowing as it took in her diminutive form. By galactic standards, humans were laughably small, barely reaching the thorax of most sentient species. The Crethian's mandibles clicked in what the translator rendered as laughter. A human. It chittered, its voice drawing attention from nearby stalls. I've heard tales of your kind. Soft-skinned weaklings who somehow stumbled into the stars. Its multiple limbs gestured dismissively. What brings such a fragile creature to Kelvar 9? Surely you're lost, little thing. Rhea's jaw tightened, but she kept her expression neutral. She'd heard worse in her 3 years as an explorer for the Terran Expedition Corps. I'm here for supplies. Nutritional supplements, grade 7 fuel cells, and supplies? A Vaxorian enforcer lumbered forward, its tusks gleaming under the station's harsh lighting. It stood nearly 3 meters tall, its muscular bulk making Rhea look like a child's toy. You can barely reach the counter, human. Perhaps you should send someone more capable. The crowd around them swelled with various species, all eager to witness the entertainment. Rhea could feel their eyes on her, some curious, most contemptuous. In the galactic community, humans were still regarded as the new kids, barely worth consideration. They were neither strong like the Vaxorians, nor technologically advanced like the Zenthari, nor numerous like the Hive collectives. I'm perfectly capable, Rhea said evenly, though her hand moved subtly to her side. The Vaxorian snorted, a sound like grinding stones. Capable? Your entire species is a cosmic joke. No natural weapons, no armor plating, no enhanced senses. You're prey animals that somehow developed space travel. It leaned down, its hot breath washing over her. Tell me, little human, what stops me from simply taking what you have? The shadow behind Rhea shifted. The temperature in the immediate vicinity seemed to drop several degrees. The chatter of the nearby merchants died as something primal triggered in the limbic systems of every creature present. It was an instinct older than civilization, older than tool use, older than fire, the recognition of a predator. Vorn stepped into the light. He didn't lumber or stomp. He flowed, each movement economical and purposeful. His form was humanoid enough to be unsettling, 2 legs, 2 arms, a head. But that's where the similarity ended. His skin was a deep obsidian that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, marked with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed with a rhythm that matched Rhea's heartbeat. His eyes were pure white without pupil or iris, and when he tilted his head to regard the Vaxorian, those eyes held the cold calculation of something that had never known fear. But it was his mouth that made even the battle-hardened Vaxorian take a step back. When Vorn's lips pulled back in what might have been a smile, they revealed rows of crystalline teeth, each one capable of shearing through titanium alloys. Is there a problem? Vorn's voice was a subsonic rumble that resonated in the chest cavities of everyone present. The translator struggled to render it in standard galactic, but the menace required no translation. The Crethian merchant scrambled backward, its 6 legs tangling in its haste. A Zalthor, it whispered, the words spreading through the crowd like wildfire. By the void, she travels with a Zalthor. The Vaxorian's tusks trembled. Its earlier bravado evaporated like water on a sun-scorched world. I meant no offense. I didn't know what? Rhea asked, her voice cutting through the tension. She allowed herself a small smile now. That humans don't travel alone? That we understand our limitations and plan accordingly? Vorn moved closer to the Vaxorian, and despite the enforcer's size advantage, it looked like a child cowering before an adult. My companion asked you a question, Vorn said softly. What stops you from taking what she has? The Vaxorian's skin had gone pale. Nothing. Nothing stops me. I apologize. Please, I meant no disrespect to you, honored Zalthor. Not to me, Vorn corrected, his head swiveling back toward Rhea. To her. The emphasis was unmistakable. The crowd watched as the massive enforcer, a being that could crush steel with its bare hands, lowered itself in a gesture of submission to the small human woman. Forgive me, it rasped. I apologize to you, human Rhea. I spoke in ignorance. Rhea let the moment stretch, then nodded. Apology accepted. Now about those supplies, get me the marketplace transformed. Suddenly, merchants who had ignored her were falling over themselves to offer their wares. The Crithian who had mocked her offered a 20% discount. Others provided complimentary services, their translator units practically singing with offers of assistance. As Rhea conducted her business, Thorn remained at her side, a silent guardian whose very presence rewrote the social dynamics of the station. She could hear the whispers, the hurried conversations in a dozen languages. The Zalthor are apex predators. They bond with only one being in their lifetime. Humans must be more formidable than we, thought if a Zalthor chose one as a companion. Never underestimate a species that can befriend the galaxy's most dangerous hunter. When their transaction was complete, and they made their way back to their ship, Rhea glanced up at Vorn. You didn't have to scare them that badly. Vorn's bioluminescent patterns pulsed in what she'd learned to recognize as amusement. I did nothing. I merely existed in proximity to those who insulted my companion. Still, Rhea said, a grin tugging at her lips. The look on that Vaxorian's face was priceless. Humans, Vorn mused, his white eyes regarding her with something that might have been affection in his species, are indeed physically unimpressive by galactic standards. Small, weak, fragile. He paused at the airlock of their ship. But you possess something most species lack. The wisdom to know your limitations and the intelligence to compensate for them. You don't need to be the apex predator when you can befriend one. Rhea patted his arm, or what passed for an arm on his species. Plus, we give excellent belly rubs. Vorn's crystalline teeth glinted. That remains the most confusing aspect of human behavior. But yes, that too. As their ship lifted off from Kelvar 9, Rhea filed her report to the Terran Expedition Corps. The galaxy was learning a crucial lesson about humanity. They might be small, they might be weak, but humans had survived Earth, a death world that had forged them into survivors, strategists, and most importantly, the kind of beings that apex predators chose not to hunt, but to protect. The galaxy had mocked humanity's size. Now it was learning to respect their choice in friends.